Hello, and welcome back to the Chess Problem Challenge. We will continue our topic of checkmate with pawn. Here is problem number 55. In this position, we have the king on g1, we have the bishop on b2, and a white pawn on f6. For black, we have the black king on h8, and then black knight on g8, and black pawns are on g7 and h7. Please pause now and find the winning move. Okay, let's take a look. The black king is stuck. He cannot go anywhere because of his own pieces. So we take the white pawn on f6 and capture the pawn on g7. This would be checkmate because the king cannot eat our pawn because of the bishop on b2. Now for problem 56. In this problem, we have the king on g1, the knight on g5, the white pawn on h6, while for black, the black king is on g8, the rook is on f8, the knight is on h8, and the black pawn is on g7. Please pause now and find checkmate. Okay, let's take a look. The black king is stuck. He cannot go to the white squares because of the knight on g5 who's controlling them. He cannot go to the black squares because his pieces are around him. So if we take the pawn and push it up one square to h7, this would attack the king and declare checkmate. Because the black king cannot eat our pawn because the knight on g5 is protecting it. Now for problem 57. In this problem, we have the white king on g1, we have the queen on e8, and the white pawn on g5. For black, we have the king on h8, and black pawns are on g7 and h6. Please pause now and find the winning continuation. Okay, let's take a look. The black king is stuck. He cannot go up because of the queen on the 8th line. He cannot eat his own pawns, and he cannot escape to g6 either because the white queen on e8 is not letting him do that. So if we take the white pawn on g6 onto g6, then the black king is trapped. He cannot eat our pawn because the white queen is protecting it, and he cannot move anywhere. This is checkmate. Let's move on to our next problem. In our next problem, we have the king on g1, we have the bishop on e2, we have the pawn on f7, we have the king on h7, we have the black knight on g8, and a black pawn on h6. Now, please pause and find the answer. Okay, so the black king can go on 3 squares here. He could go up on h8, he could go to the left to g7 or g6. So the move we can make has to be really strong to prevent him from escaping and also attacking him. The only move that can do that is by taking the white pawn on f7, capturing the knight on g8, and turning that pawn into a queen. This way, the queen is attacking the king, and the king cannot move. This is checkmate. Now for problem 59. In this problem, we have the king on g1, we have the pawn on f7, we have the king on h7, the rook on h8, the knight on g8, and the pawn on g7 and h6. White has only one pawn, but is still able to checkmate. Please pause and good luck. Okay, let's take a look. Well, there's only really two ways to move this pawn, either up or capturing the knight. Capturing the knight is not a great idea because then the rook will just eat us. But if we push the pawn to f8, we have four choices. We could choose a queen, rook, bishop, or knight. Only one piece can attack the king on h7, and that is the knight. Now the king is attacked, and not only is the king attacked, but the g6 square is also attacked. So the king cannot go here because of the knight as well. Therefore, this is checkmate. Let's move on to our next problem, number 60. And this problem is actually a little game I want to show you, but it starts something like this, and it's for the black pieces. A white pawn goes to e4, black replies e5. White opens up with a king's gambit, pawn f4. The black pawn eats the white pawn on f4, and the white knight goes to c3. Now the black queen comes out to h4, declaring check. White pawn covers on g3, black pawn eats the pawn on g3. Now, the white knight comes to b5, trying to fork the king and rook with knight capture c7. The black pawn continues its advance to g2, declaring check. The king has to go down to e2, after which the black queen eats the white pawn on e4, declaring check. The king has to go to f2, and here is your problem number 60. Black to go, checkmate in one move. Please pause and good. Okay, let's take a look. The white king can only go to one square because the black queen is so strong in the center. So the only square the black king can move is g3. He cannot eat our pawn on g2 because the black queen on e4 is protecting it. So now let's take a look at the black pawn on g2. It has two ways to go. You could either capture the bishop on f1, but then the queen or the king is going to eat it. Or it could try to capture the rook on h1. Now we have four choices. We could choose a queen, a rook, a bishop, or a knight. Only one piece can attack the king on f2 from the h1 square, and that is the black knight. And now it is checkmate because the black knight not only attacks the king on f2, but also protects that g3 square, the only escape route that the white king had. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.